From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
I was up early this morning and wandering around the city and just being amazed once again about what a beautiful and impressive city it is, and just hoping that we can all get together and start doing beautiful and impressive things here in terms of our representatives. I'm trying. There's nothing more important to me than the books that I write for kids, young people, etc. And the reason I write these books, the reason I came here, even though I'm going to talk mysteries later on, but I didn't come for that, is that I think the best way to get kids reading is to give them books they'll love. It's kind of common sense. I don't think it happens enough in some of the schools, and I don't think it happens enough in a lot of our homes. I have a good friend, who his wife died. He wound up raising his two boys, and they really turned out great. But it never occurred to him that it was his job to go out and find books for his boys that they would love. I was not a big reader as a kid, although I was a very good student. The schools I went to, I guess, put the wrong books in our hands, in my hands anyway. I still don't like Silas Marner. I have an 11-year-old Jack, and Jack didn't particularly like to read, though he was a good student as well. Jack is very bright and creative. He's 11 now. At 5, he wrote an illustrated book called Death of the Butterfly Catcher. Butterfly catcher gets on a plane, travels halfway around the world, doesn't catch a butterfly, gets on a boat, travels the other half of the world, doesn't catch a butterfly, gets on a train. When Jack was 5, he loved trains, catches the butterfly, steps off the train, gets hit by a train going the other way, Death of the Butterfly Catcher, butterfly flies away. But as smart as he kind of is, he didn't really like to read that much. So my wife soon, what we did is, when he was 8, we went out and found about a dozen books that we thought he would like, Percy Jackson and Hatchet and the Warrior series, etc. And we told Jack, you don't have to mow the lawn, but you do have to read every day for at least half an hour, as much as you want to. And the first summer, Jack's response was, do I have to? And then we did the same thing the second summer, and Jack's response that summer was, okay, that's fine. By the third summer, Jack read a dozen books, including To Kill a Mockingbird, when he was 10. And this past summer, he read God knows how many books, including Huckleberry Finn. And the secret for us is for Sue and I, is we made it our responsibility to find books that we knew he was going to love. About a year and a half ago, I started a website to help, not to try to teach people or lecture to them or whatever, but just to help parents and grandparents and school librarians and teachers and kids to find books that would turn them on. On the site, it's called readkiddoread.com, and on that site, there's nothing but kind of books that are going to turn kids on that are also fairly worthwhile. They're divided into 1 to 6-year-olds, and then transitional books, and then page turners, and then books that are harder but worth the effort. And I've done a bunch of interviews on the site with Jeff Kinney and Rick Riordan and Julie Andrews, John Sheska, who I just met here, who's a terrific guy, Sherman Alexie, Carl Hyacin. And finally, I'm writing books for kids, a lot of them. Maximum Ride is one series. It's about some kids with wings, but what it's really about is kids taking responsibility for their actions and learning to be responsible for one another. That's what I think it's about. There is a movie coming, and I think the people who are involved with it are really first-rate. Avi Arad is producing it. Avi produced Spider-Man and X-Men and Iron Man, and he really cares about doing these things well. They have a script from Don Payne, who was the head writer on The Simpsons for 8 years, and he's really a funny and good writer, and I think the script is great. And then Catherine Hardwicke, who directed Twilight, is directing it. So it's a really, really good group, and I have the highest hopes for the movie, which of course is very visual because there's a lot of flying in it. The second series, which you may not be as familiar with, is called Daniel X. And Daniel has the greatest superpower of all, which is he can create with his imagination. So that series is really about using your imagination to overcome impossible odds. And girls like Daniel, but boys love Daniel. And that's the hardest thing of all, I think, to write a series that boys will love. Obviously, Jeff Kinney's done a great job with that with Wimpy Kid. And that's what I try to do with Daniel X. My son Jack gave me the highest praise when he said, Dad, you finally got one right about Daniel X. And then because I'm a busy bee and a nutcase, I have Witch and Wizard coming out in the fall. And once again, the idea for that I find kind of irresistible, which is imagine if you woke up one morning and all the freedoms you took for granted, all the things you really love, music, art, books, movies, she is so good. Because I talk fast, man. That's what happens to the brother and sister who are the main characters in Witch and Wizard, and who happen to be a witch and wizard. So who has questions? And I don't have answers, but I can fake it. Yes? We'll do it right. Go ahead. We don't have time. We're too fast for that. Question is, am I going to continue the Maximum Ride series? Yeah, as I said, Jack is 11, and he grows out of his shoes real fast, so I got to keep, Maximum Ride will keep going on for a while. I think I know where it ends, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
What color is Max's hair?
What color is Max? Oh, because it changes. Well, she changes it a lot. You know, she dyes her hair. She's kind of a contemporary girl. It's been blonde, it's been brown, it's been red. I'd say, what color do you want it to be? Yeah.
What's your favorite Maximum Ride book?
What's my favorite Maximum Ride book? That's hard for me. I'm always partial to the first one because it's new and it was hard, and so I love the Angel Experiment. And I really like Max, the last one, and the next one that I've just finished is I think is pretty good too. What do you want?
Who's playing Max in the movie?
Who's going to play Max in the movie? We don't know yet. From what I understand, and this isn't gospel, but not for Max, but I think Nudge might be Will Smith's daughter. I think. Yeah.
Cool.
Don't take that one that's the rumor. Yeah.
When is the Maximum
You
Ride
like
movie
soccer?
coming out? Yes.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. Are you better now or when you were like 5?
When I was like 5.
You were better when you were 5? Well, that throws that thing out. Okay, well, what's your question?
When is the Maximum Ride movie coming out?
When is the Maximum Ride movie coming out? I'm not sure. It's complicated because there are a lot of special effects, because they haven't been able to find any kids who actually fly. Yeah. Mets. You can get in trouble down here. Nationals you're supposed to wear. Go ahead.
What inspired you to write Maximum Ride?
What inspired me? I've always been, look, I want to lift off, we have these feet of clay, and so that's always interested me, the notion of flying, the notion of being able to rise above the limitations that we have as human beings. I think that's a piece of it. Yep.
What tips would you give to aspiring writers?
What advice do I give to aspiring writers? Just keep doing it over and over and over again. When you finish whatever, whether it's a short story or a novel, don't just sit down and write the next one. Just keep doing it. You'll keep getting better. It's like anything else except for that one guy in soccer. Yeah.
Can we expect a Daniel X movie?
When do I expect the Daniel X movie? I don't know. The guy who did the trucks that turn into monsters, whatever, the producer, Transformers, he's messing around with it. It's hard to say with Hollywood because they sort of make up stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure is the answer. Yeah.
What inspired you to become a writer?
What inspired me to become a writer? Let's see. As I said, I wasn't a huge writer as a kid, a reader as a kid. And I worked my way through college at a mental hospital, and I worked a lot of night shifts, and I had a lot of free time. I started reading like crazy, and then I started scribbling, and I loved it. And somebody said, you're lucky if you find something you love, and then it's a miracle if somebody will pay you to do it. So I love doing it. I do it every day. I did it before I came here in the morning, and it's just a trip for me, yeah.
How'd you choose to write about bird people?
How did I write about bird people?
How'd you choose to write about them instead of a different
As
animal?
I said, part of it was just a fascination with flying. And actually, in my family, 2 of my sisters have wings and can fly, so that got me going on it. Football.
How'd you get the idea of writing the Daniel X?
How did I get the idea of writing Daniel X?
Yeah.
I guess I just like the idea of somebody who could solve problems with their imagination. That was part of it. Then I like the idea of this kid who's there and he's hunting aliens on the earth. You probably don't know that there are aliens all over the place, but there are. You probably met a few and didn't know it. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of anything where the Maximum Ride characters and the Daniel X have interactions?
Have I ever thought of combining the Daniel X and the Maximum Ride? The trick is Hollywood. When you sell something there, they go, oh, if anything that shows up in a Maximum Ride book, we own now. So you have to be careful. I did the same thing. I do mysteries, and I was going to put the Women's Murder Club in an Alice Cross thing, and they said, oh, if you do that, we'll own the Women's Murder Club. So you wind up not being able to do it, which is kind of crazy. Yep.
What did you think of the Maximum Ride manga book that came out?
What did I think of the manga book? I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was the manga book. I thought they did a nice job. I thought the drawings were very good. I think she's really talented. The second one, I think, is coming out soon. Do you know? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I approve. Yeah.
What's your favorite children's book?
What's my favorite children's book? I don't know. There's a lot of them. Wrinkle in Time. There's just tons. I like the Reardon, the Percy stuff. I like Wimpy Kid. I like. To Kill a Mockingbird isn't a children's book, but I think it's a book at a certain point. Which is one of my favorites. I think I read it when I was 12 or 13. Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you do a lot of research when you were coming up with the Bird Kids?
Yes, I did. I wrote an adult novel initially with a flying girl, and I talked to just so many scientists about the possibilities, and they all said that not that, but things like that will happen in our lifetime because of the advancements and what can happen with biotech. Yeah. This is a better side. I'm telling you, man. It moves. Yeah.
Who was your favorite author when you were a kid?
Pardon me?
Who was your favorite author when you were a kid?
Who's my favorite author when I was a kid? I don't know. If I think of something, I'll let you know. Yeah.
What was your favorite Maximum Ride book to write?
I like the first one, Angel Experiment, and then I like Max, and I like the 2 that I'm kind of messing around with now. St. Ignatius, you're here. I thought you were much older than this, but yeah.
In the movie, do you know who's going to play Ari?
No, Ari has a big part because Avi Arad's son is named Ari. So no, but I don't know who's going to play anybody yet. But we're getting close now.
Who's your favorite author to read now?
Is my favorite author that I like now? There are so many, on a real serious level. These are older books. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, James Joyce, I think is a wonderful, wonderful, and one of my favorites. And then Michael Connelly, who's over there. Don't go see him. No, go see him. Go see him. Yeah. No, he's very good. And then some of the others I mentioned about kids, and I'm missing a lot of the kid authors that I like a lot. Yes, sir. Notre Dame.
What's your favorite character in the books?
I love Max, and she's funny and she's brave and she's conflicted and she's messed up and she's So I really like her. Fang is coming on. He's getting a lot more substance as time goes by, and he's a good-looking guy. Hollister. Hollister, California. Is that what that is?
Inspiration for You've Been Warned?
What was my inspiration for?
You've Been Warned.
Oh, You've Been Warned. I think to some extent I was working out with You've Been Warned a little bit of Catholic childhood, scary stuff about hell, things like that. If you're young, you're not ready for You've Been Warned yet. She is, but some of you might not be.
Is
We're
there
working on the
any
mic.
possibility that the guy that played Edward and the guy that played Bella are going to be Max and Fang?
Is there any possibility that the characters from Twilight, the two main characters, will be Max and Fang? I doubt it. I think there's been a little bit of talk about the guy who played Edward being Fang. I'm not, this isn't my talk. No, yes?
No.
No. Yes, no, it's not in our control. Hollywood just does what they do. And I must say, Avi, the producer, has been terrific. He does involve me more than I've been involved in the past, but I have a lot of funny Hollywood stories. This isn't the place, yeah. Too much cursing, crying, weeping, yeah.
Is Iggy ever going to get his sight back?
Is Iggy ever going to get his sight back? Well, he's had flashes now. He's seeing a little bit more, which I don't understand, but I take his word for it. Yeah.
Hello, my son Jackson's a huge fan, and he's read all your books and a lot of the other popular books out right now.
I was thinking of calling my son Jack Jackson, but then I go, Jackson Patterson sounds like a receiver for the Oakland Raiders or something, so yeah.
Do you have a recommendation? You mentioned your son reading To Kill a Mockingbird, when it's appropriate for that next level of reading?
I think people need to figure that out for themselves. I mean, you know your kids, and you got to figure out when they're ready, and Jack he's just a very sophisticated. No, I think that parents. I do think one thing that's kind of weird with parents. So sometimes is they'll do this age appropriate thing, or grade appropriate. It's age, I think, is the issue, and you just need to know your kids. But they'll send their kids to any frickin' movie, and then they go, "Oh, is this age appropriate?" Yeah, give me a
Thank
break.
you.
Yeah,
Could you,
you know, killing gnomes. Thousands of them is as bad as, somebody dies in a book. Yeah.
Could you tell something about your process when you write, like from the very beginning to
Could I
what the
tell
end
something about the
product might
process
be?
when I write? Well, okay, this is important, I think, for any kids here. And you hear this all the time in school, and you don't listen, and I didn't listen when I was your age either, when they say outline. Outline, 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 outline. It makes everything easier. You'll get better grades. It will go faster. It will go faster. You will write a better piece. You will get a better grade. Outline. So the first step in terms of my writing is outline. I will spend a long time. I'll rewrite the outline 5, 6, 7 times for any of the Max books. And then I write a lot of drafts. I never get stuck. I just keep going. If I'm not getting a chapter, I just move on, and I'll get it the next time around. And I write a lot of drafts. Confidence obviously helps. St. Ignatius, you're back.
How long does it take you to write a book?
How long does it take me to write a book? Usually a year, but I work on a lot at the same time. Yes, sir.
What's your favorite genre?
What's my favorite genre? Geography. No. I don't. I like a lot of kinds of books. As I said, I like Michael Connelly mystery stuff. I like a lot of the YA books. I'm reading I occasionally like a love story. I don't think I have a genre. I don't like war stories too much. I don't know why, but I don't. Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you because your books, between the adult and the children books, have served as a real connection between my son St. Ignatius and his papa.
Great.
So they've
Great.
really
Well, thank you for bringing that up.
connected.
And one of the reasons. One of the reasons that I started writing for younger people, although a lot of adults read the books as well, is I would come to signings and people would come up and go, "You got my kid reading." And a lot of times they'd have tears in their eyes because it's a huge deal for a lot of parents if the kids aren't reading. It really is a big deal. And just go back to what I said before about if you're having a problem, you got to find books that they're going to like. And that doesn't mean, my kid likes baseball, therefore a baseball book. If it's a baseball book, you got to find a good one. It's got to be stuff where they're good. And that's why on Read Kid, I'll Read, I've tried to make sure that all the books there are good ones. And there's write-ups, not critiques, but write-ups so you can tell what the books are about. And it will take you about 5 minutes to decide whether the site is for you or not. Yep.
When's the next Maximum Ride book coming out?
Next Maximum Ride book, I believe, is March. Yep.
Could you just take a few minutes to explain how you broke into publishing and sold your first manuscript?
Could I take a few minutes in terms of how I broke into publishing? Okay, interesting for anybody who writes books or wants to write books. I wrote the first novel when I was 25 or 26, a Thomas Berriman number. It got turned down by 31 publishers. It then won an Edgar as the best first American mystery of the year. So if you get turned down, don't worry about it because you might have written a good book. And as I said before, go write another one. But the other thing about turndowns is I remember in the beginning you would get back 20 or so letters. Everyone would have a different point of view. So they're all thinking different things, but don't worry about it and keep writing if you love to do it. Yep.
Is the Witch and Wizard book going to be part of a series?
Is the Witch and Wizard is the Witch and Wizard book going to be part of a series? Yes. I'm already 2/3 of the way through the second book. Yep.
Do you base your characters off anyone you know?
As I said, the two sisters of mine who have wings. The question was, do I? Yeah. Mostly no. No. Yeah.
So, can you tell us anything about the next Maximum Ride book?
Can I tell you anything about the next Maximum Ride book? Yeah, Fang and Max are really like each other, but they get pulled apart. And Angel has said that Fang will be the first one to die, and Angel is never wrong, but we hope she's wrong this time. How's that? Yeah.
What impact do you expect your books to have on kids?
You got to stay up at the mic.
Okay. What impact do you expect your books to have on kids?
On kids? Yeah. What impact do I hope my books will have on kids? I hope, and this is why I did this, that obviously I write books that are very popular, and my hope is that, look, there are millions of kids in this country who have never read a book they liked. That is a disaster, because that means that they're not going to read much. I mean, if you go through life, anything that you don't like broccoli, you don't eat broccoli, So if you've had bad experiences with books, it's not a good thing. So I'm hoping that my books will give kids good experiences with books. They will then read other books, and they'll continue to do it for the rest of their lives, and it will be in different levels. As I said, I like Michael Connelly, I like young adult books, I like James Joyce. So my reading of books is at different levels. And I hope that's what will happen to a lot of kids because of their having experienced some of my books. Yeah.
Out of all the adult books you've written, which one is your favorite?
Out of all the adult books I've written, which ones are my favorites? I'm happy that I created Alex Cross as a character. Michael Bennett, that's another series I have. I really love him as a character. I don't know that I have, I like Susanna's Diary for Nicholas, which was a love story. There really are a lot. Honeymoon, I think, is a really good mystery. So I don't like Season of the Machete at all. So it's a mixed bag. I don't have any favorite. I do have, Season of the Machete is definitely the one I dislike the most. Yeah.
What's your favorite series that you've written?
As I was just saying, there are a lot of them. I mean, in this, I can't really pick even in this grouping, Maximum Ride, Daniel X, Witch and Wizard. They're all very different. I'm happy with the way they're going. And I'm actually doing a book now, a 2-book series about middle school, and it's really juicy, I'll tell you, yeah.
I noticed that some of
Because you know what goes on there.
Some of your adult
and now the world is going to know, yeah.
Some of your adult novels, you have co-writers or partners. And
Yeah,
how do you
what, do you
choose
want to be a co-writer?
Maybe.
Sure, why not?
How do you choose? Are they really helping
You ready?
you?
We're going to alternate words. Well, I don't know.
Are you just trying to help other writers? Or are they really helping you, or what's that about?
I got into the co-writing thing by accident. A friend of mine writes a lot of articles for the New York Times, and we were out golfing one day, and we sat down afterwards, and then we were talking, and I had this golf story, and I started talking about it, and I said, let's try to write it together. And it was really a lot of fun. And I could never write all the stories I have in my head. I just wouldn't have the time to do it. And I find with the co-writers that, and you know, almost all television shows, not all, but, you know, are written like teams. A lot of movies are. And you wind up getting a nice mix of talents. And, you know, my strength is storytelling. My weakness is the patience with craft. So, you know, I'm not the greatest stylist in the world. I could be better if I wrote one book a year. So it's a nice mix for me.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about being included in the poker game on Castle?
How did I feel about being in the poker game at Castle? It was great. It was a lot of fun. I thought it came off nicely. They did a nice job. They cut nice pieces of me in there. This is a TV show that I was in. They invited me back. But it's just too hard for me to go all the way out. It's 3 days, and you know, so I didn't go back. But I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a good show. It's a good writer that put it together. Yep.
What is the ambience of when you write, your surroundings?
What's the ambience of when I write? There's angels and flying.
No cards all over the place.
Now, I have well, I'll tell you what, I mean, my office, it's sort of big. It looks out on the water. And I have a table that goes, not a table, but a shelf that goes all the way around. There are bookshelves on top, and a shelf that goes all the way around the room, and it's filled with manuscripts, things that I'm working on, outlines, and right now there are 27. So it's a madhouse. I said I was a nutcase earlier, and I'm not kidding, yeah.
Is Casanova coming back and we'll cross-catch him?
Is Casanova coming back and we'll cross-catch him? Didn't he die? Didn't he? I don't know. Yeah, do you know? I mean, have you seen him? I thought he was dead, but maybe not. Okay, we'll see. Maybe. Yeah.
How many books have you wrote?
I don't know. How many books have I written? 60 maybe? How many have you written? None yet? One?
Pages.
4?
I've written a few pages.
All right, okay. Well, that's how it starts. If you write a page a day, at the end of the year, you'll have a book.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when you looked at the check for movie rights for your book?
How do I feel when I look at the checks for the movie rights to my book? You know, it's still, one, it's fun. 2, it remains kind of unreal to me, and that's probably why it's fun.
Well, we
because
love that
it's
you're
always
getting
more
rewarded.
fun when it's unreal, huh?
We love that you're getting rewarded.
Yeah,
that way too.
It was always fun. It was fun when I wasn't making anything. It was fun when it wasn't fun to be turned down initially, but it's always been fun to write the books. Are we good? Anybody else? We're good. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.